Hi, my name is Monet, and this is M Chanel Reviews. This is my very first video, which I'm very excited about. So, for my first video, I decided to review the book Feed by M.T. Anderson, which had gotten a lot of good reviews. And I was like, okay, great. So I went into my bookstore, my favorite bookstore, and I found Feed, and I was like, okay, great, this is gonna be awesome. This is the book that I need. And now I'm regretting it. It was terrible. So before I tell you why I absolutely hated it, let me tell you what it's about. The book is set in the future. It's about a boy named Titus who has a chip inside of him called Feed. It was made by very big corporations, and almost everyone has it. So on spring break, Titus goes to the moon with some of his friends, and there he meets a girl named Violet, who he's like, oh my gosh, she's absolutely beautiful, I love her already. And so he starts talking to her, and then he invites her to another party. So at the party that they decided to go to, they are dancing or whatever. So a random old guy at the party, he hacks their feed. And yeah, I can't tell you anymore because the plot was okay. I thought the plot was really interesting. The only thing that really bothered me was the writing style. I don't know if M.T. Anderson wanted it was intentional for the writing style to be this terrible, or if he really just writes like that. But there are so many periods on a page. The sentences are so short. It's like, I patted her hand, period. Let's see, what else? There was a long feed silence, period. It was, I'm not even giving you like the worst page. I wish I could find it again. It was terrible. There were so many periods, and I was just so confused. It was so hard to read. When I had picked it up, I just did not have the desire to read it, which is terrible because I love reading books. It's one of my favorite passions. So when I get to a book that I just do not want to pick up again, I just will abandon it. I'll throw it into the backyard and bury it because I just don't want to read it anymore. When I pick up a book, I want to be invested in the book. I want to reread it. I want to give it to other people. And this is one of those books that I just don't want to give to anyone else because it was so terrible. And I know that sounds harsh, but it just was. The characters were one-sided, especially the female characters, which sometimes can happen when there's a male author. The female characters sometimes aren't written that well. Some of the words in the book I just did not understand. He just started making up random words and just started putting them all in the pages. And I was like, okay, maybe there's some type of dictionary that they put in the book sometimes, I don't know. Nope. There's just questions to discuss. And also, the relationship between the two main characters, Titus and Violet, the ones who had gotten hacked at the party, for some reason, these two completely opposite people fall in love. Which I know, sometimes it's supposed to be like, oh, cute, oh, fall in love. But this one is just terrible. Their relationship, it was so messed up. So the only reason Violet even liked Titus was because he was considered normal in this new society. And that's where I had the problem the most. She only liked him because technically he was rich. That's how I took it. And throughout the whole entire book, I couldn't even tell if they were in love or not. M.T. Anderson, I bet he's a fantastic writer in his other books, but this one just was not that good. The way that he wrote his characters were just terrible. I hated it. And Violet and Titus, the only way I could tell that they actually liked each other was because they kissed. And if you have to go and write in a kiss scene just so your readers can know that they're in love, is not a good writer at all. And there's these sections in the book sometimes where it's italicized and they would talk about current events, and I just did not even want to read it. I was so bored. Like, I tried to read it whenever I could, but even then I was like, hey, my room needs cleaning. I never clean my room. I'd rather clean my room than read this book. I know this book review made no sense whatsoever. I'm just fuming because I hated the book so much. And who even came up with Feed? Who thought that it was a good idea to go and insert a chip inside someone's mind that controls almost all of their body functions? That's a terrible idea. I mean, what if it malfunctions, which it did to the girl Violet? I'm sorry, spoiler. It left her unable to function. So who thought it was a good idea to do that? So what was the person's idea when they thought of that? Like, hey, you guys, you know what would be a really good idea? What? Let's insert chips into someone's mind, and if they malfunction, oopsie daisy, they die. Well, that sounds great. That sounds wonderful. Why haven't we thought of this sooner? I hated it, and I'm tired. Yeah, so I hope you liked the first one.